There, that'll work. Right? Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Hello, YouTube lands. Ye old guardsman on. Um, so I woke up this morning and was perusing the interwebs, and you know how as I is, I go through it and whatnot. I just every morning when I wake up, just like y'all. Every morning when I wake up, first thing I do is I grab this here cell phone and I pick it up, look at it. What time is it? What day is it? What the fuck is going on with the YouTube peoples? What is society going on about? Okay, time to go get coffee. That's literally how that starts out. So, we all know how my day goes. Anyways, I went and I got myself some fancy news duds, and I want to show you all this. My eyes are nearly back to normal, but if you look here, you can still see that very faint redness in the middle of my eye there. I wasn't joking when I said I had arcflash problems. My eyes are really sensitive to light, even now. So I went and I got me some new fresh polarized sunglasses for fishing and whatnot. And I says, all right, well, I'm just going to wear these because they're not nearly as messed up as those other ones are with the, the marker and all that crap. Any Hoosiers. So as I was saying, this morning I woke up and I was perusing the old interwebs, and I saw old boy over there at the Blind Sniper. Shout out to a fellow YouTuber with some interesting perspectives, I'll say. Interesting perspectives. And y'all be nice to him now. He's earned it. Anyways, I was sitting there and I was just being me, and I thought, well, I've mentioned this to folks in their comment section several dozen times. I know folks don't necessarily always go and watch somebody else's videos, and even when you're tagged in it and sort of things, but it's one of them things I need to get that out there and like says, all right, well, just because this is my part of my side of things. My black powder tends to be just good enough. This is the subject he was talking on, anyways. But just bear with me. My black powder is just good enough to be able to go hunting, maybe do some defensive work, because I'm absolutely certain it'll go off. I'm absolutely certain it has the power when it goes off. It's just not as dense, as condensed as other people's or professional grade. And let's be clear, if you're going for as condensed as professional grade, you might as well just go fucking spend the $30 and buy the pound off the shelf. Because the reality of it is, by the time you've bought all the tools and all the extras and everything else that you need in order to get it down to that super, super duper stupid condensed powder, you're not saving money. It's the same damn amount. This is literally in Economy 101. They've literally made it so that you're not spending more than a couple of cents more for the actual powder itself than would even out by making your own. Unless you do certain things that make it less adequate than would be in the professional box. How would I know this shit? Well, remember, my dad used to be in manufacturing. He was a machinist. Okay, he did machining. But he specifically worked. I say we because I worked on several of his jobs alongside him. But that's neither here nor there. He went and worked for high pressure plastic injection molding companies, and for aircraft parts manufacturers, and for tool makers, and he made carburetors. Dude, the guy literally made most of the Cahin and Jennings carburetors that you'll ever find out there in the motorcycles and whatnot. made those. Literally, get the metal hot, pour it into the mold, machine out the needle and the structures and the cable and the pull and this top and tie, and when you just strap everything together, screw it all together. Okay, yeah, he did all that shit. He also made his own black powder, because even then, it wasn't necessarily that it was cheaper. It was just easier. You know what I'm saying? This is the reason why people make their own black powder. It's easier to get the powder yourself into your house, at your house, to your home, what have you, by making it yourself. If you want cheapest and easiest, go fucking buy it at the store. Go drive halfway across the country to go to a damn store that you can actually buy the powder from, and go buy it from the store, because it's easier. If you want, I don't have to hassle with driving across the damn state or the country or what have you. I don't have to worry about import-export taxes, extra special fucking fancy hazardous waste taxes, transport taxes, transporting an oxidizer and a fuel source together, taxes. If you don't want to have to deal with all that bullshit, you can legally and lawfully have up to 50 pounds of homemade black powder of any quality. Federally speaking. Now, your state and local might have changed their shit because they might be dumbasses, but you know what I'm saying. Federally speaking, as far as the ATF is concerned, as far as any big wig deal federals are concerned, you're allowed to have up to 50 pounds of black powder as your personal cash. And that's per person, household, per firearms owning person per household. 50 pounds. That doesn't mean that you can have, 10 people living in the same fucking house and you've got, 500 pounds of fucking black powder. That's not okay. They don't let that happen. They don't let that slide. You could have like 50 pounds and then 5 pounds extra because there's, 10 people. But, 50 pounds goes kind of quick if you're shooting a cannon or anything large caliber like that. You got to remember, the larger the diameter of the bore. It's the diameter of the bore, not the freaking chamber length. The diameter of the bore. That makes it so that you need more powder. So in this, I'm saying you can make your own at home for less hassle. While it's more tedious, it's less hassle. While it's about the same expense, it's less hassle. You get what I'm saying here? You don't have to deal with, a Johnny Blue Coat cop that has a wild hair up his ass and doesn't like the fact that you've got, a pound and a half of black powder in the trunk of your car because you're going from the fucking Cabela's to your house. What? Yeah, that 1 pound of fucking black powder is going to be just enough to maybe blow the fucking damn the trunk off of my car. And it's going to do nothing to anybody around. Big whoop. But you carrying that, you transporting that from the store to your home, you have to spend extra fucking money on a tax. I don't know if you guys knew that. You're supposed to have the little diamond. Has that all set up. You're supposed to pay the taxes for that at the DMV before you fucking go and transport that black powder from the store to your home. Now, from your home, you can go to fuck anywhere you want. But from the store to your house, that one transit, you have to pay the tax for it. What the hell? And this is why it's less hassle to make it yourself. This is why most stores don't carry it, but they will order it for you. Because in order to go from the store to your house, you have to pay a fucking tax. And the store, mind you, that you order it from, and then you go and you pick it up from, they pay the tax for ordering it from the manufacturer. The manufacturer sends it to them. They pay the road tax for that trip. Then you pay the road tax for the trip from them to your house. Beyond that, you don't have to pay a tax because it's private use. But while it's in the efforts of commerce, and this is why this is so fucking horseshit, and I hate the fact that the ATF even has their fucking fingers in it. But this is the situation. Purchasing the black powder itself from the store, you have to pay that tax in order to drive it home legally. I didn't say that everybody does this. Let's be clear. If you do this, then you're basically kind of, you're blue line bootlicking. But so most people don't do this. But it's actually the law, which would make everybody who has ever utilized black powder and gone to fucking Cabela's a felon because they don't pay this tax. It's tax evasion. If you didn't know, now you know. But, just complete segue to that, if you make it privately yourself, you don't have to pay a tax to transport it. To sell it, you do. That's how this works. That's why the ATF is such a pain in the ass. Anyways, I was mentioning to old boy, all you need is a bushing, just half inch, 1 centimeter, 100 millimeter bushing, bearing bushing for a vehicle. All right, that's the internal diameter of the bushing is 1 centimeter, 100 millimeter, 1/2 inch internal diameter bushing. And that bushing, they sell them at AutoZone. You can literally buy them for they go on the front end of your car where the A-arm and the A-arm and the what is it? The A-arm and it's not the sway. It is the sway bar. No. It's the A-arm and the tower where those two unite. That particular solid bushing that has the 1/2 inch walls and the 1/2 inch diameter internal, that's what I use as my pucking die. That's what that is. It's literally from AutoZone, the most common, most necessary part on a fucking vehicle, bushing. Then you just take a piece of ye old hardware store rod stock, okay? This stuff right here, and you go to, you take it down to you turn it down to your 1/2 inch, and all you need to do that is a hacksaw and a drill. Don't know if you knew that. That's literally all you need. You don't even need a drill press. The redneck lathe is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen come up with by anyone. All right. Shout out to Mike Bellevue. Shout out to every other redneck out there. Shout out to everything Black Powder. Shout out to Blind Sniper. Shout out to Lane Beaver Trading Company and everyone else of you who I've not mentioned. These are just the folks that really gave me the push over the edge. But yeah, here you go. Just literally a little bit over 3/8 inch, or not 3/8 inch, 5/8 inch rod stock, a little bit over a half an inch of rod stock, and then that 1 centimeter, and you turn it down and then cut it off, and now you've got the little part that I was talking about. And there you go. There's your precision, your literal precision, scientific, special, extra, super duper pucking dies. A front main bushing for a fucking Chevy pickup truck. And a piece of steel rod stock from the hardware store. You don't need much. Now, how you choose to get your compression, that's up to you. Me personally, I just use a C-clamp because you get adequate compression. It goes to the point where, yes, you could get a little bit more powder into the space and get a little bit more power out of that powder. But at the end of the day, the reality of it is you're not getting more than what you put into the powder, for one. And two, it's a series of diminishing returns at that point. Once you get it to that 1.3 compression, it starts to get more dirty for the more power you put into it. It gets to be more fouling, less reliable, the higher the compression you get up beyond that certain point. You got to remember, fireworks grade, pyrotechnics grade powder down here on this end of the scale, all right? And then sporting grade muzzle loading propellant up here at this end of the scale. This is your 1.9 per cubic centimeter, 1.9 grams per cubic centimeter density. Down here is your 0.2 grams per cubic centimeter density. Okay, so you're going all the way from 0.2 to 1.9 for your professional grade. And then mine is like right around here. Just a little bit off of that, like hand's breadth off of the professional grade powder over here. You've got mine, which is like a 1.3. And that's from literally just using a screw press. C-clamp. Get it nice and tight and then pop it loose and pull the puck out. Just press the puck through. There you go. You've got a little tiny puck of compressed black powder. Now, if you break that apart while it's still wet, it's not solid, hasn't had a chance to dry out, it fluffs. It will start to blossom and get to be more than what it was. But if you keep it compressed down at that point until it dries, it will adhere and hold its space, even once it's broken up. Also, for those of you who shoot the 58 cal Enfield and the 68 cal Brown Bess musket, that puck system makes the perfect black powder pellets. The perfect black powder pellets. I burned one, it was years ago. I think I did it on video. I might have not actually recorded it and put it up on the YouTubes. I don't know. It just, my schedule's so scattered and everything, I don't give a shit. Really, I just do these videos kind of just because it's like a little prod at folks. Like, hey, you can do this too, asshole, and you're not doing it because, and I know you're not doing it because you're sitting there complaining about things instead of getting an actual fix on it. Like I did. I went and I stopped complaining and I figured it out. And I did it myself. This is one of those things where you remember when I was complaining about can't fucking buy powder, and so I'm buying Pyrodex, and you can't buy caps, so I'm buying freaking toy caps, and it works half the time but doesn't work all the time, but and that's not good enough for self-defense, so I'm still carrying around my freaking air pistol and shit. Now I'm carrying around a black powder gun because it's absolutely reliable. Almost every single time I pull that trigger, that cap goes off because that cap is made perfectly. Every time I've got a system down pat for it, runs those caps and makes them perfectly. I've got a powder making system to where my powder is absolutely reliable. It fucking goes off every time that cap goes off. Every time. Not once, not twice has it gone off and, you know, the cap's gone off, but the powder hasn't burned. Every time the cap goes off, righteous, the powder burns. And every time the powder burns, it doesn't squib. It's got enough power to put that ball out the other side. Now, I charge my guns a little bit more than other people just because, you know, my powder's a little bit more fluffy than others. But I do that generally, you know, with a proper mathematical understanding of how far I want to go with that. Like, for instance, say most people are running about 30 grains in their gun of black powder for particular caliber, particular type of gun. Okay, so 30 grains of black powder. I have to run about 45 grains to get the equivalency weight of powder. Now that's closer to the historic black powder, compressed black powder that they made back in the day, because they didn't have hydraulic presses. Look at yourself and ask yourself: did in the 1700s and the 1800s, did people have hydraulic presses? You know, nice, fancy, machined, expensive, all sorts of, you know, precision machining, hydraulic, you know, propylene glycol, hydraulic fluid presses. Remember, propylene glycol, hydraulic fluid was not a thing until about the 1920s, 19-teens, when it really became a kind of a necessity. And then before that, it wasn't really invented until the 1890s. This is after the cap and ball era. This is after the freaking flintlock era. Long after matchlock. So you got to think about it. These people didn't have this kind of equipment. They didn't have this special technology. They had what amounts to what I make. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to make it. You can reproduce this shit with a simple, just a trip down to AutoZone and, you know, a little bit of redneck know-how. I mean, I've been doing this since I was a little kid, but, you know, more so recently because I got the black powder pistol, you know. I enjoy black powder to an extent. You know, I say to an extent because I really love and enjoy and just have an absolute blast with my air rifles because there's no powder. There's no powder involved. Once we get into powders, it's more like, okay, well, it's not so much fun for me. And you all know why. I like to shoot without these things. They get in the way, especially when you're running a scope. So, and we didn't have glasses until like the 60s. You know, safety glasses, actual safety glasses. Didn't have those till the 60s, man. Yeah, we had the facial coverings from the World War I kind of, you know, shrapnel shit. That's not going to protect you from arc flash. That's not going to protect you from burning powder. That's going to protect you from metallic shrapnel. That's it. That's all it's going to protect you from is metallic shrapnel. It's not going to protect you from the burning powder. It's not going to protect you from the freaking muzzle flash. You're going to still see that. It's still going to hurt. There's no, you know, not with that particular setup, those masks that they used for, you know, protecting themselves from spalling and shrapnel inside of the tanks. They didn't have these polycarbonate lenses with tinting and, you know. So they're still getting that good old arc flash right at night. Right up through fucking World War I. Even into World War II. Vietnam. Still getting that arc flash. I mean, sure, Vietnam, they started having, you know, World War II, they started having tinted sunglasses. So, okay. Still, until then, it just hadn't been a thing. And black powder guns, they tend to put off a really bright white flash at night. Why do you think I'm wearing sunglasses today? I don't normally wear sunglasses. It's because my eyes are sensitive to light. I can finally see, though. My eyes aren't swollen shut. You know, rat bastard. Anyways. So I thought I'd just, drop that little bit of nugget of good rock of sense for you. Just some knowledge that I got from way back in the day and how I did, how I do things. Hopefully y'all learn something from it. Like how you can do your own stuff at home. Discern through the weeds, get through the bullshit. Anyways, ain't been the old guardsman on. I have chunnered on quite long enough. Y'all moonbuggers have a wonderful day. And I'll shout back at you probably around Cinco de Mayo. Y'all have a good one. I'm out.